Wisdom, the final frontier to true knowledge. Welcome to Wisdom Trek, where our mission is to create a legacy of wisdom, to seek out discernment and insights, to boldly grow where few have chosen to grow before. Hello, my friend. I am Guthrie Chamberlain, your captain on our journey to increase wisdom and create a living legacy. Thank you for joining us today as we explore wisdom on our second millennium of podcast. This is day 1473 of our trek, and our focus on Friday is future technologies and societal advances. So we call it Futuristic Friday. My personality is one that I've always been very future-oriented, and still am. Since my childhood, I have yearned for the exploration and discovery of new technologies and advancements for the future. I grew up on the original Star Trek series, and even today, as I am now on my 65th revolution around the sun, I still dream of traveling in space. Each week we will explore rapidly converging technologies and advancements, which will radically change our lives. At times, the topics may sound like something out of a science fiction novel, but each area we explore is already well on its way on becoming reality over the next couple of decades. To keep our theme of Ask Gramps, I will put our weekly topics in the form of a question to get us on track. So this week's question is, Hey Gramps, how will some of these new technologies help us in search and rescue during a natural disaster or other crisis? So today our focus will be on AI, robots, and drones. Last week our focus was on transportation, flying cars, and the rise of ride-sharing. This week we will learn how AI, robots, and drones can assist during natural disasters and man-made disasters. I am using some of the information mentioned in Peter Diamandis' blog and his book, The Future is Faster Than You Think. Between 2005 and 2020, natural disasters have claimed the lives of over 750,000 people, and resulted in a total damage of more than $2 trillion. During the past 50 years, the frequencies of recorded natural disasters have surged nearly fivefold. Now I realize that some of this is attributed to enhanced global communication and better reporting tools, but it appears to be increasing rapidly. As wildfires grow increasingly untamable, wreaking havoc across regions like the Amazon rainforest in California, the need for rapid response and smart prevention is higher than ever. We will be exploring how converging exponential technologies such as AI, robots, drones, sensors, and networks are transforming the future of disaster relief. Even if we can't prevent catastrophes in the first place, we will be able to help victims during that first golden hour, where immediate relief can save lives. So we're going to look at 3 different items today. The first one is artificial intelligence, predictive mapping, and the power of the crowd. Second will be next-gen robots and swarm solutions, and the third will be aerial drones and immediate aid supply. So let's first look at artificial intelligence and predictive mapping. When it comes to immediate and high-precision emergency response, data is gold. Already the fast rise of space-age networks, stratosphere hovering balloons, and 5G telecommunication infrastructure is in the process of connecting every individual on the planet. Aside from democratizing the world's information, however, this upsurge in connectivity will soon grant anyone the ability to broadcast detailed geotagging data, particularly those most vulnerable to natural disasters. Armed with the power of data broadcasting and the force of crowd sharing, disaster victims now play a vital role in emergency response, turning a historically one-way blind rescue operation into a two-way dialogue between connected crowds and smart response systems. With a skyrocketing abundance of data, however, comes a new paradigm, one in which we no longer face a scarcity of answers. Instead, it will be the quality of our own questions that matter most. The abundance of data is where artificial intelligence comes in. That AI is our mining mechanism. In the case of emergency response, what if we could strategically map almost endless amount of incoming data points, or predict the dynamics of a flood and identify a tsunami's most vulnerable targets before it even strikes, or even amplify critical signals to trigger automatic aid by surveillance drones and immediately alert crowdsourced volunteers. Already, several players are leveraging AI, crowdsourced intelligence, and cutting-edge visualization to optimize crisis response and multiply relief speeds. Here's one scenario called One Concern. Created at Stanford under the mentorship and leading AI expert Andrew Ng, One Concern leverages AI through analytical disaster assessments and calculated damage estimates. Partnering with the City of Los Angeles, San Francisco, and numerous cities in the San Mateo County, the platform assigns verified, unique digital fingerprints to every element in the city. With these digital fingerprints, they can build robust models of each system. One Concern's AI platform can then monitor site-specific impact of not only climate change, but each individual natural disaster, from sweeping thermal shifts to seismic movements. This data, combined with the city's infrastructure and former disasters, are then used to predict future damage under a range of disaster scenarios, informing prevention methods and structures in need of reinforcement. Within just 4 years, One Concern can now make precise predictions with an 85% accuracy rate in under 15 minutes. As Internet of Things connected devices and intelligent hardware continue to boom, a blooming trillion-sensor economy will only serve to amplify AI's predictive capacity, offering us immediate preventive strategies long before disaster strikes. Let's drill down to the forest fires in California, for instance. Utah University atmospheric scientist Adam Konchansky and a team of researchers are now refining computer models with new data to predict how fires will spread and what weather events will follow in their wake. Initiating a prescribed fire, which is a controlled fire typically intended for habitat restoration in forest regions, the team has used numerous infrared camera-fitted drones, laser scanning, and sensors to collect data, while Konchansky tested his predictive model forecast. While generated data is still being processed, the experiment is contributing to couple-fired atmospheric models, which leverage data to determine how wildfires influence local weather conditions and the interaction of the two. Yet already, Konchansky's models proved remarkably predictive of the experimental fire's actual behaviors. Paired with robust networks and sensors and autonomous drone fleets, computer models that incorporate weather conditions and AI forest fire mapping could help us to stem early fires before they gain momentum, saving forests, lives, and entire habitats. As mobile connectivity and an abundant sensor coverage with AI-mined crowd intelligence, real-time awareness will only multiply in speed and scale. Let's imagine the future for a moment. Within the next 10 years, spatial web technology might even allow us to tap into mesh networks. Wireless mesh networks can connect entire cities via hundreds of dispersed nodes that communicate with each other and share network connectivity non-hierarchically. In short, this means that individual mobile users can together establish a local mesh network using nothing but the computer power in their own devices. These devices can be smartphones, smartwatches, Wi-Fi networks, and any of 1,000 5G sensors. Take this step further, and a local population of strangers can collectively broadcast countless 360-degree feeds across the local mesh network without even realizing that they are contributing to help benefit others locally or even globally. Imagine a scenario in which armed attacks break out across disjointed urban districts. Each cluster of eyewitnesses and at-risk civilians can be broadcasting on an aggregate 360-degree of video and sound, all fed through photogrammetry AIs that build out live holograms in real time, giving family members and first responders complete information. Another example could be a coastal community in the throes of torrential rainfall and failing infrastructure. Now empowered with collective live feeds from a myriad of sensors, verification of data report takes a matter of seconds, and rich layered data can inform first responders and AI platforms with unbelievable accuracy and specificity of relief needs. By linking all the right technological pieces, we might even see a rise of automated drone deliveries. Imagine, crowdsourced intelligence is first cross-referenced with sensor data and then verified by the AIs. Artificial intelligence is then leveraged to determine a specific need and degree of urgency with all precise coordinates. Within minutes, once approved by personnel, swarm robots rush to collect requisite supplies, equipping size-appropriate drones with the right aid and rapid-fire delivery. Thinking through these scenarios brings us to a second critical convergence: robots and drones. While cutting-edge drone technology revolutionizes the way we deliver aid, new breakthrough AI-geared robots are paving the way for superhuman emergency responses in some of today's most dangerous environments. Let's explore a few of these most disruptive examples that today are reaching their testing phase. This is going to be under a section called Autonomous Robots and Swarm Solutions. As hardware advancements converge on exploding AI capabilities, disaster relief robots are graduating from assistance roles to fully autonomous responders at a breakneck pace. Created in MIT's Biometric Robotics Lab, the Cheetah 3, which sort of looks like a headless dog, is but one of many robots that may form the first line of defense in everything from earthquake search and rescue missions to high-risk ops in dangerous radiation zones. These robots already have the capability of running 6.4 meters or 21 feet per second. Cheetah 3 can even leap the height of 60 centimeters or 2 feet vertically and autonomously determine how to avoid obstacles and jump over hurdles as they arise. Initially designed to perform spectral inspection tasks in hazardous settings such as nuclear power plants or chemical factories, the Cheetah's various itinerations have focused on increasing payload capacity, range of motion, and even gripping functions with enhanced dexterity. As explained by the lab director and MIT's associate professor, Sang-Bi Kim, Cheetah 3 and future versions are aimed at saving lives in almost any environment. Examples are fire, contaminated areas, or high radiation situations where it may be impossible for a person to go in. We can send in the Cheetah robot to check if people are inside or assess the situation. The Cheetah 3 is just one example. In 2019, Tokyo's electronic power company put one of its own robots to a test. Since the first time since Japan's devastating 2011 tsunami, which led to 3 nuclear meltdowns in the nation's Fukushima nuclear power plant, a robot has successfully examined the reactor's fuel. There is no longer a need to risk human life. Processing with a built-in camera, the robot was able to retrieve small chunks of radioactive fuel at 5 of the 6 test sites, offering tremendous promise for long-term plans to clean up the still deadly interior. Another example in Japan, Mitsubishi's Heavy Industries is even using robots to fight fires with full autonomy. In a remarkable new feat, this water cannon bot can now put out blazes in difficult-to-access or highly dangerous fire sites, delivering foam or water at 4,000 liters, that is 1,056 gallons per minute, with 1 megapascal of pressure. The Cannonbot and its accompanying hose extension bot even form part of a greater AI-geared system to conduct reconnaissance and surveillance on larger transport vehicles. As wildfires grow even more untamable, high-volume production of such bots could prove to be a real lifesaver. Paired with predictive AI forest fire mapping and autonomous hauling vehicles, not only will solutions like Mitsubishi's Cannonbot save numerous lives, they'll also avoid population displacement and paralyzing damage of our natural environment before disaster has a chance to spread. We could certainly use this in California and Arizona even today. We will reach large quantity production of these units within the next few years. Even in cases where emergency shelter is needed, groundbreaking, literally, robotic solutions will soon be available to rescue humans. Let's move on to a different example in the building industry. After multiple itinerations by Fast Brick Robotics, the Hadrian X end-to-end bricklaying robot can now autonomously build a fully livable 180 square meter or 2,000 square foot home in under 3 days. By using a laser-guided robotic attachment, the all-in-one brick-loaded truck simply drives to a construction site and direct blocks through a robotic arm in accordance with a 3D model. Meeting verified building standards, Hadrian and similar solutions hold enormous promise in the long term, deployable across post-conflict refugee sites and regions recovering from natural catastrophes. Think about another idea. What if we need to build emergency shelters from local soil at hand? Making an extraordinary convergence between robotics and 3D printing, the Institute of Advanced Architecture of Catalonia is already working on a solution. In a significant feat for low-cost construction in remote areas, this group that I just mentioned has found a way to convert almost any soil into building material with 3 times the tensile strength of industrial clay, offering a myriad of benefits, including natural insulation, low GHG emissions, fire protection, air circulation, and thermal mediation. This group's new 3D printed native soil can build houses on site for as little as $1,000. Technology like this has the potential for so many impoverished areas around the globe. While cutting-edge robot technologies unlock extraordinary new frontiers for low-cost, large-scale emergency construction, novel hardware and computing breakthroughs are also enabling robotic scale at the other extreme of the spectrum, tiny or even microscopic robots. Inspired by biological phenomena, robotic specialists across the U.S. have begun to pilot tiny robotic prototypes for locating trapped individuals and assessing infrastructural damage. Tiny robo-beads, developed at Harvard University, are small bots that use electrostatic adhesion to perch on walls and even ceilings, evaluating structural damages in the aftermath of an earthquake. Another example is Carnegie Mellon's prototype SnakeBot, capable of navigating through entry points that would otherwise be entirely inaccessible for human responders. Driven by AI, the SnakeBot can maneuver through even the most densely packed rubble to locate survivors using cameras and microphones for communication. That brings me to another scenario that requires fast-paced reconnaissance in inaccessible regions. And we also have a bot for that, flying miniature robot swarm drones. This will become the next generation of drones for instantaneous relief supplies. Particularly in cases of wildfires and in conflict zones, autonomous drone technology is fundamentally revolutionizing the way we identify survivors in need and automate relief supplies. Not only are these drones enabling high-resolution imagery for real-time mapping and damage assessment, but preliminary research shows what we refer to as UAVs far outpace ground-based rescue teams in locating isolated survivors. As presented by a team of electrical engineers from the University of Science and Technology in China, drones could even build up mobile wireless broadband networks to record in record time using drone-assisted multi-hop device-to-device program. As shown during Houston's Hurricane Harvey, drones can provide scores of predictive intel on everything from future flooding to damage assessments. Among numerous others, a team led by Texas A&M computer science professor and director of the university's Center for Robot-Assisted Search and Rescue, Dr. Robin Murphy, flew a total of 119 drone missions over the city, from small-scale quadcopters to military-grade unmanned planes. Not only were these critical for monitoring levees infrastructure, but also for identifying those left behind by human rescue teams. Beyond surveillance, UAVs have begun to provide life-saving supplies across some of the most remote regions of the globe. One of the most inspiring examples today is Zipline. Created in 2014, Zipline has completed 12,352 life-saving drone deliveries as of 2019. While drones are designed, tested, and assembled in California, Zipline primarily operates in Rwanda and Tanzania, hiring local operators and providing 11 million people with instant access to medical supplies. Providing everything from vaccine and HIV medications to blood and IV tubes, Zipline drones far outpace ground-based supply transport, in many instances providing life-critical blood cells, plasma, and platelets in under an hour. It will not be a surprise to me if this type of technology will be used in the delivery of the anticipated COVID-19 vaccine. Drone technology is even beginning to transcend the limited scale of medical supplies and food. Developing its drones under contracts with DARPA and the U.S. Marine Corps, Logistic Gliders Incorporated has built autonomously navigating drones capable of carrying 1,800 pounds of cargo over unprecedented long distances. These drones are constructed from plywood. Logistic gliders are projected to cost just a few $100s each, making them perfect candidates for high-volume, remote aid deliveries, whether navigated by a pilot or self-flown in accordance to real-time disaster zone mapping. As hardware continues to advance, autonomous drone technologies coupled with real-time mapping algorithms pose no end to an abundant opportunity for aid supply, disaster monitoring, and richly layered intel previously unimagined for humanitarian relief. So let's look at a few concluding thoughts. Perhaps one of the most consequential and impactful applications of converging technology is the transformation of disaster relief methods. While AI-driven intel platforms crowdsource first-hand experimental data from those who are on the ground, mobile connectivity and drone-supplied networks are granting newfound narrative power to those most in need. As a wave of new hardware advancements give rise to robotic responders, swarm technologies, and aerial drones, we are fast approaching an age of instantaneous and efficiently distributed responses during conflicts and natural catastrophes alike. Empowered by new tools, what might we create when everyone on the planet has the same access to relief supplies and immediate resources? In a new age of prevention and fast recovery, what futures can you envision? Now, I have to admit, I do get excited when I dream about the potential that emerging technologies will provide us in the next few decades. Since God is the creator of all life, and every life is valuable. Being able to assist those in need is our calling as Christ followers. In addition to meeting our physical needs, we can also deliver the good news of Christ to those in need. And let's close with Romans chapter 15, verse 2. We should help others to do what is right and build them up in the Lord. And that's a wrap for today's question. Join us again next Futuristic Fridays as we look at another exciting exponential technology area on our Ask Gramps episode. Our next trek will be Meditation Monday, where we will help you to reflect on what is most important in life. So encourage your friends and family to join us, and then come along with us on Monday for another day of Wisdom Trek, Creating a Legacy. If you'd like to listen to any of the past 1,472 daily treks or read the associated journals, they are all available at wisdom-trek.com. And I encourage you to subscribe to Wisdom Trek on your favorite podcast player so that each day will be downloaded to you automatically. And thank you so much for allowing me to be your guide, your mentor, but most importantly, I am your friend as I serve you through the Wisdom Trek podcast and journal each day. And as we take this trek of life together, let us always live abundantly, love unconditionally, listen intentionally, learn continuously, lend to others generously, lead with integrity, and leave a living legacy each day. I am Guthrie Chamberlain, reminding you to keep moving forward, enjoy your journey, and create a great day every day. See you on Monday.